I am not joking when I say this might be one of the strongest feudal age timings in the entire game. Out of all the games I played, at Conqueror level, I was able to win every single one in under 15 minutes. At around the 10-minute mark, we are going to hit our opponent with indestructible Vikings that also move faster than any infantry unit in the entire game. If all conditions are right, we'll have men-at-arms and spearmen that move as fast as freaking knights, and that also have more damage and armor than any other infantry unit in the feudal age. Let's get into it. This build works great because of a number of reasons. First, our Pro Scout's timing with the Hippodrome is actually one of the fastest ones in the entire game. At the 410 mark, we will have already clicked the upgrade and we will have 4 scouts ready to pick up the deer when it finishes. At the same time, we will have a free cavalry unit at the 5-minute mark that will start harassing our opponent, forcing them to make units or towers to defend themselves, and giving us space to get all the deer uncontested. The next reason is because of how the Macedonian Dynasty blacksmith upgrades work. They cost silver instead of gold, which is a resource we receive for free when mining gold or stone, and a single defensive upgrade also gives us +1 to both ranged and melee armor, and +5% health on top of that. We are also able to upgrade everything to +2 instead of +1 from the feudal age. All of these means we will have Varangian guards with 140 health, 6 melee armor, and 4 ranged armor at around the 10-minute mark. These guys also have the Runestones ability, which further increases their movement speed and damage. You can use this after killing a few units in battle. And twice on top of that, the Hippodrome landmark spawns 2 very helpful units. The Hippodrome Scout, which increases the torch damage of all nearby units by 30%, and the Hippodrome Ridari, which increases the movement speed of all units by 15%. All of this combined gives us an absolute monster of a unit as early as 10 minutes into the game. So imagine a group of these freaking monsters marching into your weak and fragile opponent's base, killing everything on its path. While we are at it, let's talk about the Spearmen, because they are also quite overpowered. At full stats, they will have 110 HP, 2 ranged armor and melee armor, and when they are fighting in groups, they actually get an attack speed buff for each nearby Viking unit. So you can probably expect numbers like this in the attack speed of your spearmen when you start fighting alongside other spearmen and Varangian guards. Now, let's get into how to actually perform this build optimally. Start by sending all villagers to food and scouting around your base looking for sheep. The first villager goes to food and will also build the Varangian war camp. This thing actually gives you population, so don't worry about building a house. The next 3 will go to the gold, and the next 2 will go back to sheep for a final distribution of 9 on food and 3 on gold. At this point, set your rally point into the straggler trees and start building your hippodrome with 3 food villagers. While you're aging up, send 1 of your food villagers to the gold, and 1 to build a mill beside your berries. Make sure this villager goes back to the sheep though, just to make sure it does not get picked off by any enemy early units. Once you reach 3 villagers on the straggler trees, find any free moment you have to move 1 of those wield guys to the gold, for a total of 5. At exactly the 410 mark, you will be able to click Professional Scouts and start producing additional scouts from your landmark. The 3 villagers from the Hippodrome should build a house and then go back to the food. Once you have 50 extra wood, make sure you build a lumber camp and send all your wood villagers over there. At the 525 mark, your Pro Scouts should have completed and you should start gathering deer from the closest deer pack. By the way, since we have 5 on gold, you will be floating a lot of gold early, so get your economic upgrades as early as possible. In this exact order: survival techniques, the first wood upgrade, wheelbarrow, and the first mining upgrade last. With this build, I like to produce only 3 scouts for a total of 4, plus your free Hippodrome scout that you got around the 5-minute mark, which, by the way, this guy actually has 7 melee damage, so you can start using it to harass your opponent's villagers and force him to either make units or defensive structures to defend himself. If for some reason you cannot use this scout to attack, you can actually use it to mess with your opponent's deer. Because deer now decays while being carried, stealing your opponent's deer is not as good as before. So what you can do instead is spread it as terribly as you can. So if your opponent later decides to go on it, they will have a little less food and he won't be able to gather from it effectively. This requires a lot of APM to do though, but if you can do it, it is extremely annoying for your opponent, and this will make sure he will run out of food much faster than he would like to. As soon as you get your first 200 wood, start building a Varangian stronghold. When you get another 100 wood, start building your Varangian arsenal right next to your mining camp. In this example, I made a mistake and build another Varangian stronghold before the arsenal. But make sure you build the arsenal first. Once it's done, immediately start getting your melee infantry defense upgrades. At this point, if you're being pressured by units, make sure to produce some additional horsemen from your hippodrome or stronghold units to defend yourself. Once the deer starts arriving, move your villagers to the deer. And once you reach 10 on wood, switch your rally point to the food. From now on, we will start building Varangian strongholds non-stop every time we reach 200 wood, and also start producing Varangian guards non-stop. I like to rally these guys to my gold mine for the time being in order to protect my villagers. You could also build a tower here just in case you are being pressured hard. You might start floating food at some point, by the way, so if this is the case, make sure you also start producing horsemen from the hippodrome. After a while of constantly producing units, getting upgrades and working towards that UC+2 upgrade for your melee units, you should start moving all your units toward your enemy base. Rally all the Varangian strongholds, your war camp, and your hippodrome that way, and at around the 10-minute mark, you should have all 3 of your unique hippodrome units, your defense upgrades for your melee units, and an absolutely massive and scary army that your opponent will not be able to stop. From now on, you can either keep producing units until your opponent is dead, or if you feel you cannot end the game, stop producing units and send all your villagers to food and gold so you can age up with the cistern of the first hill. This thing will give you a big boost of food and gold when used on mills and mining camps. And because now you have a bunch of Varangian strongholds, you can actually start producing Ridari straight away in really big groups without even having to build a stable. Start working towards getting relics, your veteran upgrades, and all your defensive upgrades for melee units and cavalry once you age up. And by the way, you can actually also boost your monastery with the cistern of the first hill in order to get your monks out in only 12 seconds. As soon as you have all your upgrades, your army should be able to take on freaking Chuck Norris if they wanted to. So just a move towards your enemy base and watch how your units will take care of the rest. I would say the best way to counter this is to spearman rush your opponent's gold in the Dark Age. This will delay their professional scouts' timing, and because their barracks cost 200 wood instead of the regular 150, building these things in order to get units out and defend themselves takes a lot more time than normal. Keep harassing their gold gathering. Remember their upgrades cost silver, so if they are unable to get this precious resource, they will never be able to get all the upgrades I talked about before. The only real economic bonus these guys get before the Castle Age is their free blacksmith upgrades, so if they are unable to get them, you will always be on top economically. Also, try to deny their deer gathering if possible. These guys are extremely food hungry. The horsemen cost 100 food, their spears cost 70, which is more than regular spearmen, and their Varangian guards cost 100 food. So if you are able to deny food, they won't be able to get as many units out. You can also try fast castling and getting your own men-at-arms and crossbows or knights to defend yourself. Although this is an extremely risky strategy that can end very badly if your opponent knows you're doing it. So watch out for that. It definitely will work best depending on which civilization you are playing. Now let me show you some games where I will talk about how to use this build effectively, how to micro your units in big battles, and what to do in different situations. If you would like to catch these games live, don't forget to follow me on Twitch, and I also stream here on YouTube. Okay everyone, this is the first game and we are going against an Ayyubid player. And I am going to go in a very fast fashion with these games because there's so many games to talk about. I think I have 6 games for you or 7 in this video. So we are going to be going pretty fast against reviewing these games. But at the same time, each of these games are all less than 15 minutes long. So you will see how strong this build is. So first we start with the Varangian War Camp. I always like to redirect the rally point to my gold, just because I always forget later to do it, and most of the times if you don't set your rally point straight away, I'm pretty sure you will forget about it, and you will end up with a bunch of units here when they start spawning. So yeah, be careful about that. In this game I got 8 sheep, and I'm already going into Imperial Hippodrome. I'm going into the mill for professional scouts, and I have 4 here. Pretty nice for now. My opponent is going for the villager wing, which will give him a lot of economic boost at the beginning of the game. So this is very, very good for staying in feudal. This probably means that he wants to stay in feudal. And by the way, I did not scout what he was going for. I didn't see which wing he was going for. I actually, I think at this, I saw the start of the building, but I didn't know what that was. So here I got so much sheep, 12 sheep. I think I managed to get my scout in front of his at some point, so a lot of sheep on this game. And yeah, a little bit of idle time there, but as you can see, my professional scout's timing is already going up. So really fast timing, and I am starting to get scouts. Now, this is the very first game that I started doing this build, so my build, I was still not the most practiced with it, so I got a little bit of population block there. And now I'm starting to harass him with the Hippodrome Scout, which is, it deals 7 damage, which is really nice. And he needs to chase it with his Desert Raider. This is extremely good for me, by the way. It seems like he denied me from getting damage to him, but it's actually really good because his first unit could have been here harassing me, but instead he has to chase a scout all around the map, which is what I'm doing right now. Now he produces horsemen, and he notices that I'm going for professional scouts, so I start producing horsemen of my own. And when you are doing micro like this, always go for different deers. For example, here I am taking this deer while he is on denying this one, so he cannot be in both places at the same time. And now I am going for Varangian Arsenal, which is my Blasmith, and my Stronghold, which is my barracks. And I want to start getting some spears and some Varangian guards, because with this build you are going to float a lot of gold, and to spend that gold you will need to make early Varangian guards. So that is what I want to do. Now I am still making horsemen, because horsemen are really good against what he has, which is archers and Desert Raiders. Horsemen actually deal extra damage against Desert Raiders, because they are considered a ranged unit. So really nice for me. And now look at the difference in army value. He has, wow, I didn't even see. Okay, he has 3 more villagers because he has the economic growth wing, and he has so many archers, so many Desert Raiders, and he's going into our siege run because he's Ayyubid. He doesn't have to research this tech. I am going into my first Varangian Guard. Actually, I already got it. I am going into the Scale Barding, which I think is a mistake. I wanted to go for it because I had a lot of horsemen, but I think it was a mistake. I should have gone for the Chainmail number 2 straight away. So now he wants to get this gold. He made a siege ram, and it is 25 units against 14. I only have 5 Varangian Guards right now, but these are already pretty tanky. So right now I am targeting with the tower his archers. This is really important. And now when he's about to destroy it, I go in, and let's see how almost double the army value deals with my army. So now he got pretty distracted with the archers, trying to catch the villagers. So now my army can pretty much destroy all of his units really easily. And now all of his lead, all of the military lead that he has pretty much evaporates, and I can just go back into my gold vein right away. And now, because the feudal age has extended so much, I already have my Ridari, and now look at this, 1.29 movement speed for my Varangian guards because of the Ridari aura. This increases movement speed by 15%, so the archers are going to have a really bad time trying to get away, and I can still poke them with my horsemen and my Ridari. The Ridari is actually extremely strong. Look at the stats for the Ridari in feudal age. This thing is almost indestructible. So really nice. And now I can start to deny resources here. I think he got 1 villager from me, but now I can start poking at him back. And he needs to go into units right now. If he doesn't go into units, I am going to destroy him. So right now I'm floating a lot of resources because I don't have enough Varangian stronghold, and I am getting really distracted with the micro, so I get housed. But right now, because I am going back, I can now redistribute my macro and start using my resources. He's also very distracted and kind of focused on his macro, I think. My Varangian guards are now really increasing in number, and I am producing them 5 at a time, or I think right now it's 4 barracks. So I am scaling a lot, and I am leaving a runestone here. This is also really important. Whenever you He did the right thing, which is kite when he saw the runestone. Which, if you fight under this influence, the influence of the runestone, your army gets even better, so even faster, and with increased damage too. I think it's 15% increased damage or +1 damage. Sorry. So I think he doesn't realize how far behind he is, because he wants to build rams. I think because he wants to spend his resources. But this is going to do absolutely nothing, and I am already ahead in resources, and now I have +2 ranged armor and defense, and melee defense. So now his army does absolutely nothing. Look at the movement speed, 149 for a second there when I had the runestone. So really, really nice. This army is pretty much impossible to defeat when you get to it in the Feudal Age. And now I can just move into his base and run everything down. I still have horsemen, I still have my Raidari, and I can pop out a few runestones here if I wanted to. And yeah, that's pretty much game. He can't do anything about that. Whenever I reach that critical mass of Varangian guards, people are just dead. Okay, let's get into the second game. We are going on against a Sengoku Daimyo this time. And right now, I wanted to show you this game, even though I'm doing a slightly different build, because I want you to know that this build can still work, this strategy, if you don't go professional scouts. The reason is because there's no deer in this map. There's 2 deer. Okay, I missed the third one. So it's 3 deer. 3 deer, so 6 in total on my side, plus these 3. So 9 in total. And from his side, also 6 that are far away and 3 under his base. So this map is terrible for professional scouts. I don't want to go into professional scouts in this map. So what we can do is go for an early boar. This one I'm going to do afterwards, instead of going for professional scouts. So in this game, my build, because I was kind of winging it, I was just kind of improvising on the fly. My timings are not the best, but I will still do the Varangian Guard timing, and you will see how effective it is. So right now my opponent, Fluffy here, pretty nice name, is playing Sengoku Daimyo, and he's going into the race card build. So 1 race card here. I guess it's only 1. Yeah, it seems it's only 1. So he goes into only 1, and I want to start denying this pretty soon. So my Hippodrome, once it's done, my first scout or my first horseman is going to go straight here to deny those resources, because right now he's getting 60 resources passively per minute, which I don't want him to get. So I will start denying those, and he'll go into the Ryokan, which I think gives him healing. Yeah, population, so a bunch of wood straight away. I think 66 times 5 is 300 wood right away, which is actually really nice. And it gives him a healing buff for all the units that pass through here. So really nice. And he goes for a second Jatai, and I guess he's going to put it somewhere here. Or actually just here, which I don't think is the best. It's only 28, yeah. Still, I guess he was also worried about my horseman, because he moved his Jatai back, as you can see. My horseman is still not out because I was struggling for food. As I said, my build was not the best here. I already cleared all the deer that I had. And now, because he moved his cart, my Hippodrome Scout cannot do absolutely anything. So I'm just looking here for damage. The vision on this guy is so awesome, by the way. Look, I can see all the way through to the TC. So now he's going into a bunch of horsemen. I see that. And these guys, if I am not mistaken, they have extra damage against cavalry, which is pretty nice. So they are slightly better horsemen. In straight up fights, they are going to be better than my horsemen. So I want to produce that many horsemen. Right now, I only have the Hippodrome Horseman and the Hippodrome Scout at this point. So I am producing a few horsemen here and there just to deny this thing. And in the meantime, I'm scaling into a few spears because I saw the horsemen. So I want to make spears first before going into Varangian guards. And at this time, he's going to go for a pretty nice raid here. I should have my spears in position, by the way. This is a really bad mistake. I actually lose one villager because my spearmen were not in position. Every time you see cavalry from your opponents, you always have to place your spearmen in position. So look at your base and see where you might get raided. So this is the place that I might get raided. So my spearmen should be here instead of somewhere else. They were like standing here doing nothing. And now I want to go into the boar, as I said. I went Okay, actually no. I think that was a misclick, by the way. So I went here. I think I actually lost one villager because I'm pretty sure I sent 8, and I have my spears here, and he immediately scouts it. I think he doesn't see it yet. He sees it now and he scouts it, and but thankfully my spears were there to protect. But I still have to go away because he has so many horsemen, and I'm now defending, and he, in the meantime, look at the military production. He's going into so many units. He wants to stay in feudal, or at least he wants to make units to make me stay in feudal. And it seems like he's actually going into castle. If you see the income, the income, by the way, look at the difference. It's so he's so much better than me, I think, in income. And right now he's scaling into castle age. But I sense something this game. Right now I am already +2 at 10 minutes 11, and now I have my Ridari. So my timing is coming. So I sent every single unit that I have. And this is the perfect timing, by the way, because he is aging up. So he doesn't have as many units as he should have. So right now, these are pretty much mainly spearmen, but these spearmen are still pretty tanky. Look at all the arrows that they can tank. So this spearman will help me deal with the horsemen, and the Varangian guards can do the rest. And now I see the age up, so I immediately go for those villagers. And there's nothing he can do about this. My Ridari is giving movement speed to look at this, 165 movement speed for a second there. That was really interesting. My spearmen have 144 whenever they are close to the Ridari. And these guys right now, look at his income. He's not gathering anything. So even if he is castle age, he cannot do anything about this, and he just calls the game right then and there. Okay, now we go into the third game, and guys, this game is nuts. Striker is a really good player, by the way. I think he has been Conqueror 3 for almost every season, and I believe he ended the season last season in 1700 elo. Right now, he is getting a bunch of sheep with his worker elephants. He went into 3 worker elephants, and I was so worried that he was going to fort rush me or do any kind of weird shenanigans that I went here straight into his base to see what he was doing. And that pretty much spelled defeat for me, because he has 2 here, 3 here. Where's my scout? I only have 1. The single one that I got from the first pathing. So here, this is why you don't want to scout Tughlaq so close to their base when the game begins, because they will have worker elephants and they will pretty much... He already scouted all of this area, so he can go really far away with his scout and take everything else. So I still have 1 sheep. Only 1 sheep. So really interesting. Really interesting. This is why so I got, let's see what my scouting pattern was. This is my scouting pattern, and I only got 1 sheep. So I mean, this was so infuriating, by the way. And like when I was playing this game, I was like, I am dead. I got 1 sheep. My villagers are about to run out of food already 3 minutes into the game. And yeah, I don't get any more. This is a 1 sheep dry Arabia game, guys. So let's see how this turns up. So right now he's going into Demon Faith. I'm going into Hippodrome. I'm still following the build because I need this food like right now. I need it right now because my villagers are going to run out of food pretty soon. And I actually, because I was so focused on trying to get sheep or something, I actually missed this one, by the way. This was the only sheep that's left in the map. So yeah, I forgot to make the meal, and the meal is a little bit delayed, but I still can get the timing pretty close to what it's supposed to be. So 4:21, 22 instead of 4:10 is still good. I was fucking things up so much because I was distracted by the fact that I only had 1 sheep. And yeah, I'm preparing to get this deer. He's being a little bit annoying with the scout, but I have my Hippodrome scout. Don't fall into this, by the way. Don't follow his scout because he's just buying time. I can go straight into his gold, but he already has a tower. And by the way, 5 minutes 30. I already have 0 sheep in this game, so I need to go into the berries at 5 minutes 30, which is really sad. I am getting the deer though, and he's going to be really annoying. But at least I can still do something with my scout here. So here, I cannot I can't kill or at least start attacking his villagers, but I can do stuff like this. So here, for example, I can move this deer like over here just to fuck with his food, because this deer is going to take ages to get into my base. So this is what I do this game, but in other games I could have probably moved it here or something, I don't know, to a corner of the map, so he loses food on the deer and also has to move further away from it to get it. And now he's going into Castle Age, and I still have only one unit, I think, only the Hippodrome horseman and one Varangian guard. And I think how many barracks I have? I only have 2. He's already Castle Age. This is so... Like, if you see the state of this game, who would you say would win? Like, he's already Castle Age. I'm in Feudal Age with 1 unit, 3 military units. And I also forgot to make my my upgrades, which is just the cherry on top. So this upgrade is a little bit later than it should be. But yeah, I am just in this game I was just like, okay, let's just send it because there's nothing else I can do. He's going into Lancers. I think he was going for a build where you put the Tughlaq fort here, and then your stables can get Lancers that give you more HP. So I think the maximum HP you can get is 65 HP. So imagine Lancers with Castle Age Lancers with 300 HP, which is really, really good. That's almost like a French knight. So right now I'm using the scouts to deny the imams that are going to get the relics. I am also getting his tier. By the way, I should have been getting this, because he's already run out of food and he's getting that. And he is allowed me to recover a little bit. My timing is later than it should be, but right now is where I need to go into his base and do some damage, because he is Castle Age and he is going to be scaling up really quickly. I sent my reinforcements here because I saw that he was trying to raid gold villagers, and I think he actually got one villager with that, or actually 3, because I'm four villagers behind. But right now it's time to dive. I already have +2 finally, and the spearmen will actually destroy these healer elephants. Remember, these are Feudal Age units, by the way. So let's look at this. The spearmen, I want them to go into the lancers. I split my units here a little bit just so I can kill the workers. By the way, because I have my Hippodrome scout here with me, the tower actually died so fast, so very, very fast, because the scout gives an aura that increases the torch damage. I found his villagers and he is just dead. He loses like 20 villagers there in that dive. He is desperate for something here, and he doesn't have any units to defend this. He only has lancers, but because I have so many spearmen and so many Varangian guards that have 6 armor, I can still deal with his Feudal Age, Castle Age army, and I'm pumping units like crazy. I was harassing here too with a couple of units. My horsemen can harass the woodline. I can even kill healer elephants, and I'm focusing on denying this gold, because without gold he cannot do anything. And I'm still pumping out units. I know I need to win here. Look at the amount of units I have now. Because this thing, by the way, where is it? This thing also spawns a ton of units. So you can see them right here, but I continuously press the select idle army key. So I select them and just put them into the battlefield. So here I'm still applying pressure. I don't want him to get any resources, because if he does and he gets some units out, then I'm dead. And I just keep making units, can keep making units. A few Varangian guards mixed in, so I can keep diving. And the Ridari is so awesome, man. It's so good. I think I even forget to get my other upgrades, because I was focused on getting him out of the food. I was looking around to see whether he was on the berries or on the deer, and I am also going around. And when he sees these units here, he just taps out. So yeah, I am not sure how I won against this player with 1 sheep, but yeah, we were able to do it. Okay, let's get into the fourth game. We're going to a Golden Horde. I think this is the very first Golden Horde game that I played, at least on stream, and we are doing it on craters. So craters is this map where the meteorites spawn and they give you both gold and stone. So very good for Mongol and Golden Horde to go for this, because stone is pretty important for these civilizations. As always, let's see. I got 2 sheep right now. My opponent is a little bit AFK, but he got 4, 5. He missed one here and a couple here. He will probably get those. In the meantime, I still have 2, and we have pretty similar scouting patterns, by the way. I love how this game sometimes fuck you over like this. Look at how many sheep he has, and look at how many sheep I have. So this was right after the previous game, by the way, so I was so tilted by this time. I was like, please not let it be another 1 sheep game again. So yeah, that's just how it is. And he keeps getting more sheep here. Even though I scouted this part, I didn't get that one. So pretty nice. Yeah, I have 3 sheep under my base, and right now I am going into my hippodrome. So I managed to find a couple more here though. I didn't get that many, but still I was able to get some. So this is a 5 sheep game against I don't know what's the total here, so probably he has 15. I think it's 20 sheep in total, so he probably got 15 sheep out of that, and I got okay, I got a few more, so yeah, not that bad. So 7 in total and 13 for him. Right now, let's see what he's going for. So he got this fortified outpost right away, and this is pretty important for him because he knows I am going hippodrome, so this is already going to protect him against my scouts. So pretty nice for him, but this means that my scout, when it comes, I will be able to use it to I will still be able to use it to get deer, so it is not completely wasted. Really nice. So I go see, I already saw that he had a fortified outpost, so I don't even bother sending my hippodrome scout, and I see that he goes for 2 military buildings, so a barracks and a stable. And right now I already got professional scouts, and I'm professional scouting, and I am going into wood as fast as possible. So now let's see. He's got 2 ubus in total. This is really nice because it gives you so many resources, and as Golden Horde you can place more than 1 ubu. And actually he's also going for professional scouts, so he will be able to start poking at this and be able to take deer from me. But at this point I didn't know that he was going for professional scouts because I only saw his main scout. I never saw any other additional scouts. So I'm just here scouting, pro scouting, without any care in the world. I'm also taking some of these deer. Actually no, this is a horseman. He's going to be looking for damage. And now there's 2 Keshiks coming to my base, and he actually takes 1 deer from me, by the way. He also has spearmen, so he can deny my pro scouting a little bit. So I am also sending a scout there to raid. And here, my spearmen are in position this time, but his Keshiks are still really tanky, so he's just able to get 1 villager kill there, even though my spearmen were chasing. And now I want to put a small wall here so to prevent him from doing that again. So this wall is really nice, and I'm still using the horsemen to prevent him from getting deer uncontested. So this is just going to be annoying for him. And now he has a couple of spearmen here, also preventing me from getting the deer. But now I already have a few units to defend that. So here, his 2 Keshiks are still there. He is going into a bunch of things, and he's going into a fast castle. So his build is a couple of Keshiks and a couple of spearmen to maintain me occupied meanwhile he goes to Castle Age. But this is a really bad mistake. He's just now starting to build his landmark. I'm not sure where it is. Oh, it is not a landmark, it is just from the Golden Tent. So yeah, he's just doing that, and right now it is 10 minutes. You know what time it is. I already have my secondary upgrade in place. This Keshik is so annoying, by the way. I am trying to kill it with a Varangian Guard, but the Varangian Guard does not have the best attack DPS. So he is actually 2 villagers ahead from me. From that, so I finally wall myself in so I can prevent him from doing that again. And I'm here just waiting for my upgrades, and right now I got the upgrade number 1. I actually forgot to make it, by the way. That was only the first upgrade, but because I understand that he could be aging up at this time, I just said fuck it, let's send it only with +1. and he doesn't have pretty much anything to defend at this point. So we can just click on these structures. This fortified outpost, it is very strong, but it doesn't mean much to my pretty immortal units here. So I just right click it. I don't have my Hippodrome Scout here, so these guys are actually not dealing extra torch damage, and my Turgut can actually can actually zone off the archers, by the way. So right now I see the age up and I say, okay, it's time to dive. I place a runestone here. Never forget that, this is really important. And he now has to run, and I have guys with 165 movement speed, and yeah, this is just a distraction. Look at this. He has to go into the horse archers because he wants to kite, but I mean, these guys only deal 10 damage, and my Varangian guards have 6 armor, so sorry, 4 ranged armor, so they're only dealing 6 damage per shot. And I can also use my Hippodrome Scout and my Hippodrome Ridari to get some hits off on these horse archers. So he's being very annoying, but while this is happening, all of his villagers are actually idle. I think I also got a couple of villagers on the other sources, and I am just sending it. I am just making Varangian guards out of 5 Varangian stronghold. So yeah, so the aggression will never stop, and look at his resources per minute. He's actually not gathering absolutely anything. My Ridari died, by the way, which is a really bad thing for my guys, because now they are not as fast, but whenever they go through a runestone, you can see that their movement speed goes up to 144. So yeah, pretty nice game. Okay, now for the 5th game, we're going against Tughlaq the boss, and he's playing as House of Lancaster, which was adjusted this time. Now, I felt happy about this because I finally got at least more than 1 sheep right away, and this time my scouting pattern, I think I was a little bit better, but he still got so much sheep from just the very first moments of the game. So 7 sheep, I got 3, still not more than that, so it was like a false hope. But yeah, let's talk about House of Lancaster a little bit. So they were adjusted. Some people say they got nerfed. When I saw this, by the way, I was like, oh my god, not again. They were adjusted, the House of Lancaster, but that doesn't mean they were nerfed. They were actually buffed in the early game. 1 single manor can give you the value of 2 manors right now if you place your villagers correctly. So this, combined with the fact that the meta with Lancasters right now is with Abbey of Kings into Tughlaq, is really nice. The fact that you only have to build 1 manor to be effective is really nice. So I actually consider this a buff. And by the way, he actually got that last sheep. And finally, it seems like I did get a little bit more sheep this game than I have been getting the past few games. But yeah, this time we're going for an Imperial Hippodrome. This is going to be a really hard game, by the way, because Lancaster is one of the strongest civilizations right now. He got kind of a front gold vein with front deer, but back woodline. So if I were him, I would put my manor probably somewhere here, so it reaches my woodline, it reaches my foot villagers. It wouldn't reach the gold vein, but in any case, you only place like 4 or 5 villagers there, so it will still give you a lot of resources. So really nice. Now I am getting my professional scouts. Pretty nice timing. I am also getting my first few scouts, and I'm going to go for this deer first. And by the way, this map, I think it's pretty bad for pro scouting because your second deer pack is so far away. So this deer pack is going to lose a lot of resources, much more than this. And even so, the second one, I can still get that, but it's pretty far away. So yeah, just to take that into account, his king is coming over here just to harass, and I ignore it because my Hippodrome Scout can actually deal some damage. He sees me coming and he goes away. So by the way, he's trying to deny this, but the kings do not deal that much damage to this early. So I am just ignoring him, and I'm getting this deer for free, and I'm going into a few horsemen to deny this. Right now he could be denying this, but I have my scout, my horseman here, and I think he saw it. And meanwhile, because my scout cannot do anything, now I am doing what I told you about. I will take some of his deer, drop it, and then go back again. And you can do this with every single deer with your scout. I see that he's back mining, so I go there to deny it and do some harassment, and I come here with a horseman as well to do it. So now he has to worry about his side of the map. He got a scout here for his troubles, but because I have Varangian guards, I can actually fight with these guys. He has to run back, and I have my Hippodrome horseman here also to support. I think I forgot about that one. But I see that his Lord of Lancaster was 1 HP, so I wanted to keep going and looking for it. Right now I don't see it, but I finally find it, and I take that pick and I go over to his goal to keep harassing. And I'm still doing this, by the way. Now look at his deer. His deer are really fucked up right now. If he wanted to go into this deer, it would be really inefficient. And right now he's going into horsemen, hovelers, which is really nice, and he's up to 3 manors. This is bad, by the way. I would not recommend this if you're going Lancaster. 1 manor is enough, because all your villagers are clumped up at the beginning of the game. He doesn't have any on wood right now, but right now he has all his villagers under the influence. But I would say this is a very bad placement of the manors. I think with only 2 he would have gotten all his villagers under the radius. So right now the game is getting really intense because there's things going on everywhere. I am still raiding. I got a couple of villager kills here, and now I am already so ahead on military production. He is technically ahead, but these are all hovelers and 4 lords. And meanwhile, I have a bunch of Varangian guards that I think already have +2, not yet, but it is incoming. This is a little bit delayed, by the way. It should be like 30 seconds already done. But even without it, I already have my Hippodrome ready. I place a runestone here in this fight. I think so. At some point, I think I do. And the Hippodrome, the Varangian guards just completely destroyed these hovelers, which have the 4 lords, the aura from the 4 lords. And yeah, he has nothing to do against my army. And once he sees how strong my army is and how he lost that fight, he just closes the game. Okay, finally we get into the last game. Now we're going in against an Ottoman player in the same map as before. He's going for the standard thing, which is military schools, I think it's called. And this time I have a boar really close to the deer. And I have seen some builds where you go for a Varangian stronghold here to protect it. Then you can go for all of these food. So really nice. I think I might do a build about that later. Instead of going professional scouts, you go into a boar and deer like this. So it could be pretty good to play with. So this time I finally get more than 3 sheep with my initial scout, which is pretty nice. And let's see this. So Varangian War Camp already set up. My build is going fine. The gold is going fine. And he has got, I think, 8 or 9 sheep in total. I don't think he's getting any more. But I got, I think, only the 6 sheep that I talked about before. And yeah, that's just the story of my life, man. I think in this game, this is the game where I got the build very well done. Like, I think I didn't make any mistakes on the build order, and I was able to get the fastest Pro Scouts timing because I had already practiced it so much. And this time we're going to get a pretty nice timing, and he's going for the Twin Merit Madrasa, which will give him a lot of free food from the berries. And he's going into Spearmen too here to defend. I think he should be using the Spearmen to harass, actually, instead of using them defensively. It's because he would probably want to go into Fast Castle later. So this defensive position here might tell me that he wants to go into Fast Castle. So 410 professional scouts already researching, and a few scouts also coming up. So pretty nice. I got, I think, 8 sheep at the end. My guys actually ran out of food at some point, so these guys here are long distance mining. But right now I'm working on the deer. I got, oh, I didn't get that sheep. That feels bad. But yeah, now my Hippodrome scout finally goes there to see what's going on. And dude, this thing is so nice to have extra vision. By the way, these guys I think have 30% extra or 35%, I'm not sure, something like how the China scout works, which has increased vision. And going into professional scouts, I try to see what he's doing, and when I see this, I immediately know he's going into professional scouts. So his spearmen will defend from my scout here, and the tower as well. So here I noticed that there's a little spot here where I can still harass his villagers. So I take advantage of that and place my scout here. So now he has to worry about this spot too, which is pretty fine for me. And my horseman now arrives, and I use it to get his scout out of the way. And right now I am already up to 2 Varangian strongholds. I already have my Varangian arsenal, and I, as always, forget to start making my upgrades. Never forget your upgrades, man, because if each second that you waste by not researching this thing is a second that you delay your timing. Look at, it's so late, it's 8 minutes late. Really bad for me. And I see that he is almost there to castle, because actually he's already constructing his landmark. So this is really bad for me. I only have a few Varangian guards. I have 8, but right now they're all stuck here because I was not expecting such a fast castle. So they're all really far away, and I start dealing with this tower so I can deny him from gathering gold. So this is very important. If your opponent is in the castle age and they do not have gold, they cannot make any units and they cannot get any upgrades. So he goes into Lancers, which is a fine option against Varangian guards. And I think he will soon go into this gold because I am actually avoiding him from getting this. I think I lose my horseman, yes I do. And my Hippodrome Scout also, which is really bad for me. My torch damage will be greatly decreased from that. And I should be, I think I'm doing it right now, which is producing Spearmen, which will deal with these Lancers much better than the Varangian Guard. So right now I have still the +1, which is really bad for me. And still, even with that, these Varangian Guards are able to push the Lancers off and finish off this tower. So finally I push him back from this gold, and he needs to go into some outer resources like here. And I sense that and immediately send a horseman that way. I think it's this one, yeah, to check. Yeah, so always do this, by the way. Always go check for outer resources when you have finished doing your aggression here. Now my Hippodrome Ridari finally arrives, and now my guys are finally fully upgraded. I think I'm still missing, there we go, I was still missing my final upgrade, but finally at 11:30 minutes, which is pretty bad, they are upgraded. And now I see with my horseman that he's actually here, so immediately send everything there. I leave a few units here just to see if he goes back, because sometimes when you rotate to another place, they just go back to the old one. So I leave a few units here and I start attacking here. Runestone, never forget this. Now my guys have so much movement speed. Look at that movement speed, 165 from the Spearmen and 149 for the early Varangian guards. That is amazing, and they have +2, +1 melee damage also from the Runestone. And finally start getting some damage done. Some few archers here, villagers here die, and now he's only left with 2 lancers, and he finally realizes that he will need crossbows to defend this. But it is too late. Now I can just go into his base. I have some other units here that can also start going into the base. It doesn't matter if he has guys in the TC. These guys are actually pretty tanky because they have +2. And I get the Mangonel with the Hippodrome Breeder. He actually deals a ton of damage. And this is just a wrap. He has 0 units. And he calls it right then and there.